everybody. It's Joy and Scott from Anderson Injury Law. And once a month, at the end of the month, we always come on live to take questions and talk about what people are most interested in knowing. And today, we're going to talk about when is the right time to hire an attorney. Commercials all the time. You have advertisements like crazy, but people really don't know when is the right time to get an attorney involved. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay. So yeah, the thing that a lot of people don't realize or haven't thought through is what are insurance companies doing as soon as an accident has occurred? And even before an accident has occurred, insurance companies have spent massive amounts of time training their employees on how to defeat claims. A lot of people look at it and say, my insurance company, they're there for me. No, they're there to protect their bottom line. Their bottom line means how can they pay out as little as possible on any given claim. And so they are training their employees and preparing their employees, and they have attorneys sitting there on retainers that are in-house counsel that do run training seminars constantly to teach their adjusters how do you reduce the value of a claim. So before an accident has even happened, insurance companies have policies, procedures, and manuals ready to go on how to lower the value of a case. So when you ask the question of when do you talk to an attorney, the first thing that people have to realize is the insurance companies are already lining up against you. They've circled the wagons, they're preparing for the fight. If you are looking at it saying, no, they're going to treat me fairly, you are already downriver and have made yourself an easy target for the insurance companies. So almost every personal injury attorney, certainly my law firm, we offer free consultations. We do that so people can get in and talk to us. When and people, it's a no pressure consultation, specifically so people can come in and see if they have a case, if they have a case that's worth pursuing. The idea of when do you hire an attorney, I think it is prudent of people to call an attorney right away after an accident. Attorneys can frankly do more when we're involved early. The longer it takes to get an attorney involved, often damage is already done to a case that makes it there's less we can do to help people. For instance, insurance companies, one of the things they want is a recorded statement, and they will try to get that early in a case. And what ends up happening, and the reason they want it early is so that they can lock people into, you told us this, and if there's some piece of evidence that the person was unaware of that changes their statement, or if they say the vehicle was red when it was actually orange, or they call it a Tundra when it was actually a Tacoma, the insurance company is going to use that to attack people's credibility. And if you've already given them a recorded statement, the damage is already done, typically. There's a little bit of a caveat there that we can talk about at another time. But that's just an example of insurance companies are circling the wagons to attack claims aggressively. They will usually do it in a friendly way. They'll aggressively go after you with a smile. But don't be fooled. The insurance companies are there for one purpose, and that's for them to make money. So contacting an attorney early is the best way to go. Attorneys offer free consultations. My office does so that we can meet with people and talk about whether the person has a claim or not. There are times where people have minimal injuries or they're doing relatively well, and an attorney's going to tell you, yeah, that's not a case that's worth pursuing if someone is doing well. But what ends up happening is if someone thinks they're doing well and 2, 3 weeks later they're in massive pain and they find out they have disc herniations and all kinds of tears in their ligaments or other muscles or something like that, if they've already told an insurance company they're fine and doing well, they might have already done the damage, and then it becomes difficult to overcome. So the idea of when you contact an attorney early is the answer.
I think that's part of the mind shift. You hit on some really good points. I think the first one is the mind shift that the insurance company is not there to help you. They might have a smile on their face, they might be really friendly, but don't be fooled by that, which is hard because You pay your insurance company. Most people are loyal. They have a rapport with their insurance agent or their insurance company. And it is a mind shift to say they're not looking out for my best interest. They're not. That's something you have to overcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Insurance companies, if they treated people fairly, my job wouldn't exist and we would have a much better society. But they treat people so poorly on such a regular basis that not only does my job exist, every major city in the US, personal injury attorneys plastering their faces on billboards, inside the buses, and on TV ads because insurance companies don't treat people fairly that we exist.
And I think the second point that you brought up is with free consultations, there's no reason not to make the effort to go talk to an attorney. And I think it's so true in the shock of a injury, whether it's a car accident or anything else, it takes you a minute to kind of calm down and then things show up.
Something that is becoming heavily litigated right now about this general idea is people have started shifting and saying, I'll ask ChatGPT to be my attorney and ask him all the legal questions. And there is some case law that has come out in the last few months that basically says ChatGPT is not an attorney. It means when you ask ChatGPT or any other AI for answers, those answers are discoverable, meaning the insurance companies get to see what you asked and what the answers were. And that means if you put in something that is sensitive or that you don't want the world to know, even if you're using a private AI that doesn't allow the world to see what you wrote, it may still be discoverable and everything you type may come out as evidence. The other part of that is AI is obviously creating some interesting things in the world with its abilities to come up with information. I have had a number of people come to me showing me what AI printed out for them, and so far I haven't seen one that got it right enough for someone to completely rely on it. But the people have no idea because they're asking AI because they're not attorneys and they don't work in the insurance industry. Just to give an example, I had someone who came to me and they had a very nice, well rehearsed printout from AI. That one I think was ChatGPT. And I looked at it and said, yeah, this is all great, except it missed $200,000 worth of damages. And so had the person gone with AI, they would have shorted themselves 200,000. And so just something on that to be aware of. AI does not replace attorneys, at least at this point. Maybe in the future, but right now, you want to talk to an attorney. You don't want to be relying on ChatGPT, any of the other. There's now over a dozen AIs, but yeah,
We really have to do a video about that. That's super interesting. And I think too, if a resource is there of a free consultation, or even if it's not a free consultation, but this next meeting, if it can A, make your life easier, B, get what you deserve, then it's worth the time and the effort because just like that example, 200,000 bucks is 200,000 bucks.
the person was not pleased to realize how much they were leaving on the table.
And I think too, like when you get in an accident, there's so many issues, not just your health, but your vehicle, your health down the road. It's just so many subtopics to that accident that consulting an attorney early just to accumulate the evidence is the smart play.
I agree.
And how many times does video cameras capture something that you didn't know? Or how many times can you take a picture and get the right picture? How many times is the police report not detailed enough or not exactly right? Those are things that come up, really.
Yes. Yeah, it's something that the earlier in a case an attorney is involved, the better they can do for someone. You mentioned one just now that is high on the list of urgency, which is security footage. If you get into an accident, a lot of people don't think, hey, that business sitting on the corner, they have security cameras. I should go ask them for their camera footage. You know, when you have a liability dispute, that type of stuff has to be obtained quickly if it can be obtained. There's some businesses that'll refuse to give it to someone, but most of the time, businesses don't have systems that keep that security footage for more than a month. Some of them, they only keep it for a week. So if you don't do things quickly, you might have evidence it's gone.
And let's be honest, in this day and age, who doesn't have video cameras?
Yeah. Even in residential areas, you can find the Ring doorbell cameras. You can find a lot of people who have put security cameras around their house. Yeah, there are cameras everywhere.
Yeah. All right, great. Thanks so much. I appreciate the insight. I think you really gave some good tips at the beginning of this video that people need to really consider. If people want to reach out to you, I see your phone number on the screen. Your website is
The website is injuryevaluation.com. And easiest way to get a hold of us is the phone number 719-473-3040. Like I said, free initial consultation, and people get to meet with an attorney at my office. And so feel free to give a call, and we're happy to look at your case and see what we can do to help.
awesome. Thanks so much, Scott.